35th and 9th. Thank you for joining us today. We should have a short program followed by a ribbon cutting to announce the electrification program of Citi Bikes moving forward. And we are joined today by New York City Department of Transportation Commissioner Ydanis Rodriguez, who will be the MC. Also, the local council member, Eric Botcher, and one of the vice presidents from Lyft, Carolyn Sampanero, who we all know well in the transportation world. And we also have representatives from Con Ed who will be standing up here as well. And then, so short speaking program followed by our ribbon cutting, and then we will do a brief Q&A after that. We'll be moving the podium. But with that said, I give you Department of Transportation Commissioner Ydanis Rodriguez. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. One of the priorities for this administration, led by Mayor Eric Adams and I, is to connect all communities with Citi Bike and micromobility. You know, having access to our street for our pedestrians and cyclists to use it is a human right. Biking is not a privilege. Biking is so important for the health, for the environment, and for the economy of individuals. So as someone that was born and raised in 1965 in the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic, my father had a bike already. What happened is that we had to reverse the culture back. For many years, decades, people have been told that bike is equal being poor, and a car was a symbol of progress. Now what we have seen is most New Yorkers and visitors who are biking is more the middle class and the upper class, are New Yorkers with a high level of education. You know, we know how important is biking for the health, for the environment, and for our economy. So what we are doing right now, and Carol and the rest of the team, they know in our previous role that I've been challenged, you know, the private sector, as we are doing in government, to put resources to educate our New Yorkers about the benefit of biking. And that's, you know, why, for me, this is so important as a commissioner of DOT to continue expanding our Citi Bike. I'm pleased to be joined by Council Member Eric Botcher and Caroline Sampanero, Vice President and Head of Micromobility and Transit Public Policy at Lyft. Lyft in New York City DOT is the best model when it comes to public and private working together. We stand here today amidst a biking renaissance in New York City. Bike ridership is at all-time high, with over 600,000 bike trips occurring every day in our city. The number is huge. Last year, we had 200 million bike trips in our city. That moved from 98 million that we have in 2009. So what is happening is that biking is moving from the moment when Citi Bike was first created, from Battery Place to the 59th Street. With the great work that we are doing, again, DOT and Lyft, we've been expanding access to our Citi Bike. Citi Bike is a key part of this growth. Citi Bike ridership is surging and breaking record and after record. Most recently surpassing 162,811 rides in one day on May 7. Citi Bike is a critical part of our location transportation network and has contributed to the cycling boom we are enjoying across the city. Citi Bike offers an efficient and environmentally friendly way to get around the city. An electric Citi Bike has proven to be a popular addition to the Citi Bike system. So far this year, e-bike has powered over 65,000 of Citi Bike rides. E-bikes make it easier for people of all age and ability level to choose cycling. I can tell you, as someone that's been living in Inwood my whole life, it is difficult for someone to use a traditional bike if they are at Diamond and Nago and going to San Nicolas Avenue 190. E-bike definitely will make a big difference for someone to move around with the challenge of the topography that we have in places such as Inwood, when someone moves from places such as Indictment to 181st. And last year, DOT and Lyft negotiated an unprecedented expansion of e-bikes in the Citi Bike fleet, eventually growing to make up 50% of the total fleet. To build upon the success of Citi Bike and its network of e-bikes today, it is my pleasure to announce the completion of New York City's first Citi Bike station equipped with on-site charging. Last year, New York City DOT committed, you should give it applause, it's a big thing. Last year, New York City DOT committed to piloting station electrification, and this station marked our continued effort to delivering on that promise. Station electrification will allow us to test charging bikes on site instead of manual battery swaps. On-site bike charging has the potential to improve electric city bike availability citywide. We want to support the continued growth of city bike ridership and all bike ridership. Bike ridership is up, as I said before, and New Yorkers now have access to an all-time high number of e-bike lanes. Last year, we built more protected bike lanes, 32 miles, than every other major city in America were able to do it together. Yes, we want to do more. And every day I ask my former colleague at the council to help me to build more bike lane in their own city council districts. And as e-bike ridership in our network of protected bike lanes continue to grow, we are also investing in education to help newer riders understand how to safely operate an e-bike. Last year, we lost 30 cyclists, but unfortunately, 23 of them, they were using e-bike. We want riders to get smart before you start. Be prepared for the quick acceleration of e-bikes and the not-so-quick braking. And when you're riding, stay off sidewalks and follow all traffic laws. We know that we have a challenge in our city because of the high volume of more people not only using traditional bike, but the use of a scooter and e-bike in the sidewalk. As we support, with investing in our infrastructure, the message is clear on this administration, from Mayor Ydanis, Commissioner Cabanza, and us, no one should be using e-bike or scooter in our sidewalk. We also have to look for pedestrians, especially our senior citizens and our children. Together we can keep each other safe and enjoy everything that cycling has to offer. We recognize that access to cycling and e-bike share program is an important equity issue. We are committed to ensuring that all New Yorkers, regardless of the socioeconomic and ethnic background, have access to safe and affordable cycling options. The expansion of protected bike lanes and the introduction of on-site charging stations are steps toward making cycling more accessible and equitable for all New Yorkers in our city. We look forward to working with Lyft to support growing ridership across the 5 boroughs and to future stations electrification. All of this work is possible thanks to the dedicated team that we have in New York City DOT and our partners. I would like to end thanking John Frost, who is here with us, Mabel Kressler, Michelle Graven, on our bike share team, Manhattan Borough Commissioner Ed Pink, and also Jennifer, Brooklyn Borough Commissioner Kip Ray, and all of our other staff members who are working hard on this pilot program and on supporting bike share in New York City. I also like to thank Melanie Hall and the rest of the Connect Micromobility team for work supporting this program and bike share citywide. Before I turn to our other speakers in 1 minute en español, hoy estamos aquí anunciando que bajo el alcalde Ydanis y bajo el liderazgo que nosotros en DOT dirigimos esta agencia con nuestro equipo, estamos poniendo el primer estación de Citi Bike donde se van a cargar la batería en el mismo lugar. No se van a tener que traer batería para cambiarse por otras. Esto es parte de un compromiso de esta administración de asegurarnos de que todos los neoyorquinos, independientemente de su categoría social, económica o étnica, tengan asequibilidad a biking. La ciudad de Nueva York tiene en estos momentos 600,000 viajes de bicicleta diarios. El año pasado tuvimos 200 millones viajes de bicicleta, mucho por encima de 98 millones que tuvimos en el 2009. Tener bicicletas, andar en bicicleta no es un lujo, es un derecho humano. Y nosotros estamos trabajando para desarrollar la infraestructura. Construimos 32 millas de bicicleta el año pasado, junto con Citi Bike en DOT. Tenemos ahora un mayor % de bicicletas que son eléctricas. Por lo tanto, es un día nuevo que tenemos en la ciudad de Nueva York, siendo los líderes a nivel de la nación completa, teniendo más líneas de bicicleta protegidas que cualquier otra ciudad. El año pasado hicimos 32 millas de bicicleta protegida. Esas millas son más que las que hicieron todas las grandes ciudades de esta nación juntos. So it is a great honor, but this work takes partnership, and Eric Butcher is someone that now is a great council member, one of the leaders when it came to transportation at the city council, and someone that I had the honor to work together in his previous role as a former role as a staff of Speaker Corey Johnson myself. So let's hear from Eric.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Thank you to everyone at the Department of Transportation, Ed Pinkar and his whole team. Thanks to Lyft and Citi Bike, as well as Con Ed. I'm really excited today as a New Yorker, as the council member for Council District 3, and also as a Citi Bike user since the first day of the program. Citi Bike is my #1 form of transportation in New York City, and I looked up the stats. Since day one in 2013, I have taken 2,873 Citi Bike rides, over 789 hours, traveling 4,367 miles, and according to my calculations, I have ridden Citi Bike to Budapest, Hungary, over the course of the last 11 years. And thank you. It's been life-changing for me because before Citi Bike came along, I used to buy bikes, and I would buy Huffies from the Kmart in Astor Place because they would get stolen every few months. And so I would get a $75 Huffy. I didn't have room in my apartment, so I would keep it down on the sidewalk. Citi Bike made biking so much more accessible to me and millions of other New Yorkers. And my constituents love it. Our neighbors here in Council District 3 love it. There has been room to make the program better. And I want to thank everyone for the invitation, despite me being a squeaky wheel on these topics, the text messages, the phone calls, the letters, because there's been some areas to improve, like the docks, when they aren't working right, when some of them are offline, or even within a dock, some of the stations won't work. That's because the hardware is really reaching the end of its useful life after 11 years. So that's something that Lyft and Citi Bike is working on. The rebalancing has been an issue. In other words, docks where the whole neighborhood's full, all the docks are full, or situations where a whole neighborhood, they're all empty. Lyft Citi Bike has been working really hard on that. We're seeing some improvement on that. Part of the solution for that is to add more docks, because as the program expands geographically throughout the city, our area in the center of Manhattan is just seeing so much activity. So we need to expand the capacity and expand the rebalancing. And with respect to the electrified bikes, the pedal assist bikes, for a while, they were almost all out of batteries all the time, it seemed, on nice days. And that's very frustrating because we want to be able to get to use one, but also sometimes half a rack would be filled with blinking red lights. So the answer to that is electrifying the stations, solar-powered stations, Con Ed-powered stations. So I'm really excited that the first station is here in Council District 3 on 35th and 9th. And I really think that that's going to go a long way towards making sure that all the pedal assist bikes are charged all the time. And we don't need every dock to be powered. If you just power a percentage of them, it should ensure that the entire pedal assist fleet is charged. We're doing more to promote cycling in Council District 3 by, number one, making it safer with the expansion of protected bike lanes. When I took office 2 years ago, there was no protected bike lane on 10th Avenue south of 54th Street. We now have, thanks to Commissioner Rodriguez and his team, we now have a protected bike lane from 38th up to 54th Street on 10th Avenue. And this year, that protected bike lane is going to be extended down to 14th Street on 10th Avenue. We currently do not have a protected bike lane south of 9th Street on 6th Avenue. I'm told that we're looking good about getting that, but we want it as soon as possible. That all being said, I want to remind all the bike riders to behave yourselves out there, follow the rules more, stop at red lights, yield to pedestrians, don't ride on the sidewalk, don't ride against traffic. Getting a lot of complaints about all of you. And we want to make New York the best city in the world to bike in. And I believe that today is a big step in that direction. Let's go out and do it. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Councilmember. Now, it's a great honor to know that we have one of our New Yorkers, Vice President, Head of Transit and Micromobility Policy at Lyft, Caroline, who also has a great record of being working together. So when we went to Albany to fight when we got a speed limit to be reduced to 25 miles per hour, we went together to Albany also to fight for the SAMI law. And we were so lucky also that even though we now have previous role, we've been in that fight together. And finally, we also were able, with Amy Cohen, TA, and Family for Safe Street, to know that SAMI law now is already been passed in our city. So, Caroline from Lyft.
Thanks so much, Commissioner. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to give you special credit for all of the progress we're seeing on the streets because of the ways you're making streets safer for vulnerable street users like bike riders, like pedestrians, like young kids like Sammy. So thank you for that. And Councilmember Bottcher, you're tireless in your persistent push for safe streets, for streets with bike lanes, and we thank you for that as well. On behalf of the entire Lyft and Citi Bike team, we're very excited about this milestone moment. I want to give a special shout out to Patrick Noth, the GM of Citi Bike. Patrick, wave your hands. As the commissioner said, e-bikes are fueling a bike boom in New York City and in cities around the world. Last year, we worked with DOT to more than double the Citi Bike e-bike fleet, and we're seeing those results. We're now the largest station-based shared e-bike network in the world. Citi Bike is. Round of applause for that. Citi Bike riders took an incredible 18 million e-bike trips in the past year alone. And what's even more amazing is that e-bikes in the Citi Bike fleet are delivering on our goals around transportation equity. Our reduced fare membership program of Citi Bike, those members take 66% of their e-bike trips of their Citi Bike trips on e-bikes. Say that one more time. Our reduced fare members are taking 66% of their trips on e-bike. Since we introduced e-bikes into the Citi Bike fleet, that membership program has grown by 44%. Even more exciting, or just as is exciting, e-bikes are helping New Yorkers take longer trips. 60% of our interborough trips are happening on e-bikes. So really delivering on the promise of bike share systems to replace other types of less sustainable transportation trips. Today we're announcing the first charging station, as you've heard, and there are 3 big benefits to rolling out charging stations through the Citi Bike network. First and foremost, as the Commissioner said, we can make Citi Bike e-bikes more available when we build this network out. With only 20% of the charging station network built out, we think we can make it more likely by 25% riders can find an e-bike. To put that in perspective and to make those numbers more approachable, earlier this month we delivered 100,000 e-bikes in a single day on the Citi Bike program, which is incredible in and of itself. With 20% of the station network charging, we can do at least 25,000 more trips in a single day. And that's on current demand, which we know is growing for the program day to day. Second, and important as well, we can reduce our vehicle miles traveled across the van fleet. So if we get 20% of the station network charging, we estimate that we can reduce nearly 90% of the manual battery swaps happening in the field. To put that in perspective, that would remove 300,000 van trips made to swap batteries today, so contributing to New York's overall environmental goals. Third, and I think important to Con Ed probably, if we take a dig once mindset, Citi Bike has stations along the curb all over the city right now, and we've worked hard in this public-private partnership to reclaim that space and turn it over to bike share. When we electrify stations, we can co-locate other charging use cases in the same spots and make greater use of that curb. So we have a long way to go, but we're excited to do that work with the New York City Department of Transportation, with Con Ed, with leaders like Councilmember Bottcher. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we're going to be doing as I said before, thank you, Con Ed and the team, for the great job doing. This is a partnership. We're going to be doing now the ribbon cutting, and then we get back to take any question, okay? John.
Yep, I'm right here. Move. Don't move before they're going to do Q&A. You're right there. All right, don't move.
All right. Nope.
I know it kills them. Give us full sun and full shade.
Well, back up a little bit. Guys. All right.
Three, two, one.